Guys, welcome back to a Rare Breed podcast. My name is Avi, the host, and today this is the promised trans man interview episode. Enjoy. Okay. All right. All right. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shane. Yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, if you know me, you know me. I don't know. Like,
So
I'm
okay,
the
what I was gonna say was I came across your TikTok. The first video that I came across was it was the video of like a trans man, another trans man bitching about not having tampons. And it was like a stitch, and you came in and you were like, you're a biological woman. And it just like, and that was what led me. And I clicked on your page and I started going through, and I was like, man, I need to have a conversation. I need to have a conversation with this person.
yeah. That was the main video I think that really got it because that one hit, and it's still going over 1.3 mil.
Yeah, I
Last
believe
time
it.
I checked, and that one still everybody's like, oh, a lot of people were like, that's satire. I was like, it doesn't really matter at this point in time. It's hit like 1.3 million. I don't care if it's satire or not. Whether it's satire or not, it's actual reality.
Yeah,
Um, because that person's whole account, they are playing off of what's actually happening to this day. Um, which that person isn't even wrong about what's going on because on my last account, the one person, it's a trans woman who's like, I dare you to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom. Like this stuff is actually happening. So
yeah,
me stitching somebody's account as satire, I'm just like, y'all really think that I don't know what's actually happening and what's going on? You think I'm an idiot? No, I'm not. I'm just taking this video and running with it. And clearly it's working because people are still watching it. People are still commenting on it. They're still reposting. They're still saving it. So it's
yeah.
still going around TikTok and it's still making a lot of ruckus and a lot of noise. And if you think my videos aren't there to make people upset, that's not my intention, but it's working because it's still getting attention. It's still getting things. I'm not just there to piss people off. I'm literally there to tell you that what the new community is doing is not okay.
So, okay, that leads me to my first question. What do you feel about the gay community as it stands today?
It's attention seeking.
Yeah,
If we're going back 30 years, God, that's horrible to say because
I know. I feel
because
so
that's
old when you say it like that.
oh the God, that's 93. When you're going back 30 years to what the community was, what I grew up with in the community, it's nowhere near where it's at today. And people are getting on to me about there's no new community and old community, but there actually is. And the old community is like this what this new community is doing isn't what we're standing for. Because the
Yeah.
new community is bringing in everybody.
Yeah, they're
The old
including, I
community
mean,
is not. The old community is standing for this is who we are. We're not believing in everybody is allowed in because it's implied that we have allies. We have all of these things. You don't get a letter just because you're for us. You just stand for us. It's as simple as that. And it's like everybody has to be all inclusive in the new community. Okay, cool. You know what? Y'all can go do you, but we don't want to be included in that. And I split the trans up because there's LGBT and then there's TQIA and then whatever alphabet they want to do.
yeah. I don't even know what all that
But
new
it's
stuff
just
stands for. Do you?
no, I don't even know the extent of it at all. And it's like the second, and I think the second the queer came into it, it just kind of went downhill from that. And I'm not saying queer is the reason why it went downhill. By no means am I saying that whatsoever.
Well,
It's
from what I remember,
LGBT.
it was never queer. It was always questioning. So it was never when you use the Q in the LGBTQ, it was never queer. In my understanding, it was questioning. Back in the day anyway, it was. So I didn't even know that queer was added
I
in
never even heard of
until,
that.
yeah, it was like, I think it was
Okay,
like 2015 when I figured out that queer
sure.
was actually added in. So yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I feel like the queer, adding in the queer probably is what made the
Oh,
whole the whole thing just crazy. Did I
see,
just
and that's
throw a
where
bomb at you?
it's okay. It's like adding ally in there. Yeah.
Oh, that's what the
Now it's
A
just
stands
like
for?
again. I don't know. Now you're asking
Okay.
me. I don't know. I just know LGBT. Like
Yeah.
that. I think that covered the whole basis of the entire community. There's lesbian, gay, bi, and trans. Like that's
Yeah.
the all all of the community for me. But I mean, and yeah, I get you got transvestites, you got all of this other stuff, but again, trans covered that entire umbrella. And then you got lesbians, you got gays, and you got bis. Like it was, everybody was included. You don't have to have A for ally to be included. Saying yes, we already understood that. But I feel like the new community just, they're allowing the pedophiles. They're allowing
Mm,
all of this stuff because the pedophiles are going under the umbrella of transgender
yeah.
by just putting on that wig and that dress and being able to go into the women's bathroom, being able to go into all of this stuff. And they're calling themselves trans, but they're not transitioning.
Yep.
Like you're completely taking the meaning out of transgender, but yet they're like, well, I'm trans because I don't feel like I'm the person that I was born, but I'm not transitioning.
Yep.
Like make it make sense because I'm the asshole for saying, but you're not transgender because you're not transitioning. But if I call you transvestite, you're getting pissed off at me because you like to wear the other person's clothes. And don't come at me saying you're a tomboy because that's not even what I'm talking about. And but yeah, you're non-binary, but you're transgender, and then you're going into all of these other things. Stop labeling shit. Just figure out who you are. And then when you're older, then figure out whether you're gay, straight, whatever the case is. But there's like 4 categories. Now all of a sudden COVID hit, y'all got time to think, and now you're everything but those 4 main things.
I got bored.
So and this is where everything gets split. I don't know how much boredom y'all have, and now you're a furry. Where the
Oh,
fuck
don't
did
even
the
get me
furry come
started on that one. Don't even get me started on the animal stuff.
in?
Oh man, the animal
I
stuff
don't
is
get it.
it's weird. I don't understand it. They literally walk around with tails and ears.
That look, y'all want to do that as cosplay? I'm all for it. Like I'm
Right.
I'm cool for going to a cosplay. Like,
I mean,
but when
I
you go
love
to
Star Wars.
well, y'all dress up. Like, okay, you want to have Halloween outside of Halloween? Have fun. Like nobody's taking anything away from you. But the second, and I even told my girlfriend's kid, I was like, the second you start drinking from a bowl that's the dog's, I'm taking you to the vet. And if you think I'm not just dropping you off, you better think again because you're gonna tuck and roll out of this car, and I'm gonna drive off. I'm not even braking, my dude. We're going 50, and you're just tucking and rolling. And if you think you have an option, because I'm gonna have your mother sit in the back seat and just yeet you out the car. We are not drinking out of bowls. Nothing. You got to cut. And he just looked at me and I was like, look, We have a Tide Pod generation. You were born before after that, but let me tell you, the generation prior to you, and he doesn't realize what he's about to grow up into.
Oh man, I feel bad for these kids.
Yeah,
So what do you think about
yeah. When
kids
he gets older,
being trans?
that I'm glad we got longer than an hour.
Yeah.
when I, when I see someone come out and say their 4-year-old is trans, it takes everything in me not to call the state on them.
Right.
No 4-year-old knows that they're trans. No 4-year-old even knows about the community. My girlfriend's kid is 9. He doesn't even know about the community.
Yep.
Like his sister is just now. She's 10. Just now is just like, I think I like my best friend. It's a girl. Her mom's like, cool. Like, you figure that out.
Yeah.
That's something that you got to deal with, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a pushing into. And so, I mean, he's just like, okay, and like, okay, cool. But him at his age, he knows nothing of it.
Yeah.
So at 4 years old, you meaning to tell me they know more about the community than a 9-year-old does? A 10-year-old coming up into whatever school they're coming to, or hell, even her older sister who knows nothing about anything. You mean tell me a 4-year-old knows more? That's conditioning. That's all of this other shit coming into play. And then
I
every single one of your children is transgender. Like, bro.
Yeah, it's indoctrination. That's what it is. I mean, to me, any parent that is actually putting their 4-year-old through this process that's child abuse. It's straight up child abuse. There's no if,
Yep,
ands, or buts about it.
yep. And then I got pushback on my feed going, well, my kids are gay. You realize you can have every single one of your 50 children as gay, and that's more acceptable and more likely than every single one of them being trans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say you can have 100% of your children being gay, and 1 out of those 50 might be trans. And that's a
Maybe.
big might.
Yeah.
That's a big might. Out of every single one of my family, and I'm talking both sides. And when I tell you, my grandmother, both of them on either side, my mom, and everything else, I'm talking 5 kids on either side, and triplets and twins and all of this crap. I am the only trans person.
Yeah.
And my cousin is gay. Like, and you meaning to tell me out of every single child you popped out, all of them are gay or all of them are trans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I'm the only gay one in my family. I'm legitimately the only gay one in my entire family, as far as I know.
Yeah. So, like, there might be one coming out soon. I don't know, but like, there's no probability, even on the gay aspect of it. Like, okay, you might have a few more people, but there's no way. And then you're sitting here giving them hormone blockers.
Yeah.
That's not okay, especially when some of them are used for castration of um, sex offenders.
Yeah. People in prison who are sex offenders. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they said that was inhumane, but let's give it to a child and it's okay. And don't come at me and be like, what's medically necessary? Get fucked, because medically necessary is not what we're talking about. It's willingly saying your kid is trans and to stop their puberty and to stop them from going into growth. Children need to grow. If they have a little bit of dysphoria, who cares? They need
Right.
to grow into their bodies and then go into therapy, go into all of this bullshit that their body needs to naturally grow into. And then after they hit 21, then go into the hormones, go into all of this stuff. But they need to develop. They can't just stop everything. And I've had people go, well, people have been on puberty blockers, they've gotten off of it, and they've been able to have children and all of this other stuff. I was like, but it's a castration device. Like, it's a pill that castrates.
Well, I know that most of the time they're lying to people and telling people that these puberty blockers and like some of these medications are reversible when they're not at all. Like once you start this process, that's basically
You
it.
have to take it, yeah, and you have to take it for a very short period of time. It's like usually within a few months, if you stop it, it possibly could be reversed. But it's like these kids are taking it for years on end.
Yeah.
It's like you start it before puberty, and then you take it until you're ready to have a surgery or whatever the case is, and then by that time, obviously, everything is train wrecked, and you can't reverse anything. And the detransitioning process is higher up now than it's ever been. When I was starting to transition, it was maybe at like 1% or something like that. Now it's much higher because kids are obviously regretting it.
Yeah.
But it's like hormone blockers, puberty block, whatever you want to, or yeah, puberty blockers. Just leave it alone. For what? Saving one surgery? Go through the surgery. Who cares? Just I've had 2 surgeries. Go through it. It's not that bad. Just go through it. It doesn't matter. Go get the hysterectomy. Go get your chest chopped off. It's really not a bad recovery. At least not for me. I mean, most people are different than me. I was up and running right after the surgery. I mean, I took a few weeks off of work, but my nurses after the hysterectomy, they're just like, you need to lie down in bed. I was like, no, I'm ready to go. I need to get out of here. So she was not happy with me, but she goes, you need to eat something. You need to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, fine. Within like 2 hours after surgery, I was gone.
So
So
what age did you realize that you were trans? Like what age did you officially
I
know
always
for
knew the
sure?
second, I mean, I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
So when I should say when I really knew the word for it, but I've always known I was different.
Right.
And so I always wanted to hang out with guys. I fought tooth and nail never to wear a dress.
Yeah.
I did not want to, I wanted to hang out with the guys. I was always, why does my brother get to do that and I don't? Why can I not, dress like my brother? Why can't I be like my brother? And so, but in my 20s, like 28 or something like that, 27, I went up to one of my good friends and I was just like, I want to be a guy. She goes, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, I actually do. Like, and she was just like, all right, well, I support you. But I didn't
Yeah.
start transitioning until I was 35.
Cool. That's pretty cool,
I think you
actually.
froze on me. There you
Sorry, it keeps like freezing. I'm trying to keep up with it.
go. No, you're good. Like, you just froze in one spot. I was like, okay, are you there? I don't know.
Yeah. So do you feel better now that you've transitioned?
Yes. Yeah. I don't regret anything. I think I would have regretted it if I transitioned sooner. If I had all of
Right.
this information when I was younger, And if I grew up now and I was forced into everything, I would have regretted it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change the way I did anything, how I did it, the way I did it. So waiting, I think, was my best option. And that's why I'm just like, because I researched the crap out of it. People are like, oh yeah, puberty blockers are the best thing in the world, blah 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 blah, all this other stuff. And really looking into it, I'm like, no, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're. I'm older than Google, for crying out loud. So it's like going to the doctor and them me believing them would have been horrible
Yeah.
for my, because mentally hormones are hard enough, and going through switching from estrogen to testosterone is already a huge mental mind fuck to everybody, and vice versa. So on top of something else destroying your body, it it's not an easy process. I cannot even imagine what I would have gone through stopping all of the natural growth, and then
Uh-oh.
also foreign into this
Oh no, it keeps
activity.
freezing and going in and out.
So body or getting it butt whooped from you're allowing it to do. Yeah, you're frozen.
Yep, it keeps going in and out. Stupid Zoom, man. Anyway.
But yeah, I think I would have, if I was growing up now, teenager wise and everything, and stuck in this society, I think I would have probably gone into the puberty blockers and all of this other crap. I think it would have been a lot harder transition,
Yeah.
because of the societal norms now, um, which is making it. I still would have been, the whole trans thing and everything like that, but I think I would have destroyed my body.
At a
And it's
younger
already hard.
age.
Yeah, yeah. And granted, I don't want kids. I've never wanted kids at all. That wouldn't have been the issue. It would have been more, you're already doing destruction to your body with putting in the opposite hormones that you already were born with. So that in itself is already a mental mind fuck to your system. And that's already damaging your system. I knew the risks already going into taking the hormones that I'm taking.
Yeah.
But to add more of that to stop whatever growth that your body is going through, and to just do a dead stop and then also reverse what you're supposed to naturally have on top of that stop, your body is just going to just go through even more of a harsh reset that it
Hmm.
shouldn't have to go through. So making sure that your body is just going through the natural process and then doing a reverse is hard enough. I can't imagine these kids going through just these hormone blockers and completely just stopping the natural process and then hitting them with that the opposite hormone. Whether hormone blockers are good or not, why would you even put your body through that?
Right.
It's just it's not normal, and a lot of people are going to be like, well, what you're doing is not normal. Yeah, I know that, but you can't explain to somebody what it feels like to be transgender. You can tell them,
Yeah.
and but nobody will get it. The only people that do get it are the true transgender people,
Yeah.
not these people who are screaming the non-binary trans crap.
Yeah.
I will die on that fucking hill, because you cannot be non-binary and transgender. I don't care what crap you come at me, and if you're not transitioning, you're not transgender. Um, but I guess that's just, me being transphobic. But, here we are in that whole bullshit. But yeah,
That you're on the
it's
perfect podcast.
yeah, the unwoke woke bull crap that's going on today.
Yeah, I have my shirt on, my I'm gay but not woke shirt.
Yeah, yeah, the whole the one person and called me a ray of sunshine. I'm like, yeah, I'm running with this one. Thanks.
So have you ever heard of Gays Against Groomers?
I've heard of it, but I haven't dived into that yet.
You should totally look into it. And I mean, honestly, you're like the perfect candidate for Gays Against Groomers. Perfect. You should totally be a part of the organization. Like the mission itself, we're literally just a bunch of gay people. I call us normal gay people. And
No,
we just want to protect children from basically being sexualized, mutilated, and indoctrinated. What it comes down to. We don't want children knowing at such a young age what being gay and trans is. They shouldn't even know about it until they're basically adults, or at least like late high school age, like 17 years old, I guess is understandable. But like the mission at Gays Against Groomers basically is, to protect children from this crazy woke ideology. And you're perfect.
fair enough. Yeah, that I can definitely get behind that because I mean that was one thing that um my girlfriend was really worried about, as well as her family, was whether or not I was that far left
Yeah.
person that was going to come into their kid's life and be like, "Hey, guess who I am?" No, mm-mm. My ex's kid still to this day does not know who I am, and I came into her life when she was 3,
Yeah.
and I was just like, no, these children will never know. I was like, I don't even know if her son will ever know who I am, because he will never know, because he met me like this. He will always see me like this,
Yeah.
and um, that is one thing that will never slip my mouth towards him, is what I was in my past.
Right.
And that's one thing that she had to tell her ex, and I was, oh, which is understandable. That's not something I will get mad at. And he was worried about it because of all the society going around nowadays. I was like,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about me telling him anything, because that is something that is not for children. I said, even if he had a question about it, I said, I will answer it, but I will never tell him, hey, this is who I am. This is how I know. It's just, it will be more, this is how you can research it. Go look online. But if you have a question about it, this is the answer for it. So keeping it away from children is a definite top priority. You should not know about all of this stuff. And I told my girlfriend, I was like, if he ever gets a teacher that goes, this is what we're learning today, and it's anything other than math, English, or writing, I will yank his ass from that school. I said,
Yeah.
I don't care if you agree with me or not, but the second they start getting pride flags and all of this other bullshit in the school besides learning, I will be down there. You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about you being down there, because I will leave work right away.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Gays Against Groomers does. They are on school boards. They are fighting the big fight to make sure that children are protected in all aspects. I mean, they've gotten so far in 20, I think it's 25 states now, they've gotten the minor ban. So you can't transition if you're under the age of 18.
Oh,
They
that's
got,
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah, they pushed all of those bans. Gays Against Groomers was behind 26 of those bans. So
nice. Yes, I will definitely stand behind that, because I'm in Washington State,
yeah,
and
Washington's a shit show.
that's why I'm worried, because they have laws here in Inslee. They have laws here that I'm just like, if one child gets a wild hair up their ass and doesn't like their family, they can easily be taken away legally, and the parents can't do anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that we're trying to push in Colorado right now. We're trying, as Gays Against Groomers, we're trying to get initiatives signed so that these things can't happen.
Yeah. And I'm just like, y'all are, and I'm happy about Idaho. They passed to where they, I did a TikTok on it. They will not be calling you by your preferred name or preferred pronoun. You go by he, him, or she, her, whatever you look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much, so much.
Yeah, it was simpler 20, 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, you're telling me, man. Shit. Society, I feel like, and I say this all the time on my podcast, society is lost. We need like a reset.
Yeah, I can't. Some of the stuff I want to say I probably can't because it's like, oh, you're threatening. No, it's those are intrusive thoughts that probably should never come out. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep that off of the recordings.
All right. So, let's see. Do you think more gay people should like do you think more gay people need to speak up about what's going on in the gay community?
Yeah, I don't think there's enough.
No, there's not.
Um, by no means, and I'm following a lot of people who are. I just don't think there's enough. I think people are just too complacent on letting them live their life. But and there's a lot of comments that are just like, why do you care? Well, because you're literally taking away my identity by saying you have a right to say whatever you want. You have a freedom of speech, but there's consequences to your speech. So you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but don't think I won't come back and say you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, and just like people saying, well, you block everybody who disagrees with you. No, I don't. You can disagree all you want to. What I won't deal with is you being an idiot. And you clearly can't handle the fact that I'm disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting here saying, well, I can do whatever I want to, and I'm going to come under your umbrella, and then you're sitting here being complacent, saying, I don't care, you're literally just being a doormat. So if you're not liking it, whether you're gay, straight, bi, whatever the case is, if you're just okay with everything, you're just one of the sheep following everything else, and you just don't care, which is fine if that's what you're okay doing. But I'm not okay sitting down and letting you walk all over me. If you're one of the ones that sat there and watched the Matthew Shepherds of the world,
Mm.
and you're okay with what's happening now, then everything that happened was for nothing.
Yeah.
So just speak out. Who cares if you get the hate? We've already been through it. We've been
Yeah.
through worse. What's the worst they're going to do? Tell you you're an a-hole online? Okay. Like, I've been called worse by better people. What are you going to do to me?
Yeah. So do you think the community was ever really inclusive in the first place? Accepting and inclusive?
I think we were a while back ago. We got to that point many years ago. I think at one point we had to be. Back in the 80s and 90s, we had to be. We had no other choice. Um, it when we didn't have an option and that was our only option, in order for us to have the rights we do now, we had to come together to be able to unfortunately be divided today.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's pissing us a lot of the community off now, the old community, because the new community just doesn't understand what we had to go through.
Yeah.
And they say they do. And the funny thing is, a lot of the older community is just like, who cares? Like, why does it matter? They have a voice, blah, blah, blah. Did you not see what we went through? And you're still standing behind them, just, they're shouting for nothing. They're saying nothing. They're screaming about equality.
We
You
already
have
have that.
equality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're equal. You literally had zero issues. You had none. You could do anything you wanted to. You could walk outside and not be chained to a fence and got beat. You were not being destroyed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then you started to open your mouth.
Yep.
And now you're reversing everything we worked for.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. They're embarrassing the rest of us.
Exactly. And just like that one argument, that one person I was getting into an argument with, saying that trans people are dying. And I'm like, okay, let's bring up the stats.
Yeah.
And I brought up the stats. And then I'm just like, here we are. This person was mad as hell about it. Because, for what?
I mean,
And she goes,
when someone says trans people are dying, it's like, well, where?
yeah,
Where are they dying and how are they dying?
exactly. So I went down that rabbit hole. And I didn't dive that far. It took 10 minutes. So I pulled up 2022 numbers and I pulled up 2023 numbers. I didn't even go back that far.
Yeah.
I actually brought up a chart from 2012 all the way up until 2023, but I just went back a little bit. And so I was like, okay, let's do this. And I even went into like suicide rates because I was just like, let me just give her a little bit per him. I don't even know what it was. So I went back just a hair and I was like, look, back in 2022, there was like 50 something trans murders. 2023, there was like 31. I said, to me, that's an improvement. I mean, it sucks people died,
Right.
but that's 20 less people that died. So where are they dropping like flies here? Like, I don't understand where we're going with this. I said, if there's more suicides than there are trans murders.
Yeah.
I said, let's help the mentally ill. That will help us change, more of them that are dying by their own fault.
Yeah.
And they got pissed off going, well, how does that help murder rates? I said, it doesn't, but the murder rates are going down. Like, I felt they're about to go up because people are tired of the bullshit, but, here we are. And then they go, well, there was 2 that died last week. Again, that's down from 31. So we're still in the positive by 29 here. I don't understand where you're going with this. And then they go into the bullshit, well, I was just talking about equality. No, you weren't.
Yeah, no, you weren't.
This is and then I go into, well, biological women who aren't transitioning are dying at 133 per day. But we're not talking about this, which is a lot more than what trans people are dying per year.
Yeah.
So we really want to dive into this rabbit hole. You're losing on this trans thing. So here we are. But they didn't want to hear about any of that. I was like, if you're going to care about one thing, care about all of the things.
Yeah.
Don't put trans into this category of we're being put down and we're being put on the back burner and everybody's attacking us. We're not being attacked. We're making ourselves the victim. I'm not making myself. The old school trans are not making themselves victims. The new trans and the new community, and this is why I say new community, because I want nothing to do with the new community if they're acting this way. They're making themselves the victim. Stop being a victim and actually go out there and help the community. There's nothing to be a victim for. You're screaming and yelling over nothing, and actually be an advocate. If there is something wrong, stand up for it. But there's nothing wrong at this point that I can see except for screaming and shouting.
Yep. Yeah, people are crazy in today's society, man. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your political views? Have they changed? Obviously, they've changed.
Like, don't get me wrong. I was a very strong believer in Democratic. I was very far left.
Now, is your like family far left? Is everybody that you know far left, and is that why?
No, my family. It depends on who you speak to. My dad's a very rational guy. He doesn't care if it's Dem or Republican. He's very, if this person's right, get him in office, type of person. Um, so he was very pro Trump. He's like, get the politics out of it and just get this guy in office because
Yeah.
he's good for office. And I was just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, he's a horrible person. Blah 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 blah. I was looking at it as a personal aspect. Do I think Trump is a bad person? Yeah, personally, I don't think he's a good guy. Politically, get him back in office. He needs to correct all of this bullshit because I didn't see what he did in office because I was blinded by he is a horrible human being.
Yeah.
But we actually could live. We were
Yeah,
able to buy groceries.
that's the important question. That's what usually what you ask anybody in today's day. You're like, were you better off 4 years of Trump, or are you better off today? Which is better?
Exactly. And a lot of people are so blinded. And I do have friends who are very far left, who are very just let them be who they are, who cares, and let them label themselves as whatever they want to be. And it doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? And I'm calling myself out on this one. And trust me, this is a mistake. Y'all don't need to beat me up for this. I did vote for Biden.
How does that make you
I know.
feel now? I'm just kidding.
He needs to pay me back a lot of fucking money, okay? Because we are forking out a lot. And trust me, I am an angry person right now. And if he wins, intrusive thoughts are coming back right now. So it is, there is a lot of regret on that voting day that is going back. But I also do know that that election was rigged.
Yeah.
That was a horribly rigged election, and it should have been Trump in office. It should have been another 4 more years of that man. And 2024 needs to be Trump in office. If that's the only two political parties, if Biden wins again, it is not going to be good. And I do mean politically wise, but I think this country is going to burn if he goes back in office. And I do regret being so far left that I cannot see straight. But I think that is also a lot of my friends as well. A lot of them are seeing the issues that came about having Biden in office. And we really didn't see what the issues were because he was only vice president. And he did not have a say in what was happening in the country because Obama was over the office. And it was really hard to figure out what type of person he was. and that was a mistake. And hopefully another 4 more years won't be a bigger mistake, because we're just gonna burn if he gets in office again.
It's true, yeah. Oh yeah. And it's funny because I was even telling my wife this, like, I have been the same. I am the same person. I have been the same since I first turned 18. I mean, when I was 18, they didn't have, independent on the registration. You were either a Democrat or you were a Republican or you were an independent. No, not an independent. It was I can't remember what it was, but you couldn't choose to be like a conservative or a constitutionalist is what they have it as now, which is what I basically consider myself as, because I mean technically I had to register as a Republican, and that's what I've always been, but in reality I'm not really a Republican. I'm just a like constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution and I will defend the Constitution until I die.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's
and
hard
in,
because both parties are just a shit show.
yeah, oh yeah, Republicans are a bunch of like I in my opinion, Republicans and Democrats together, they're just bought and paid for puppets on string. That's it. They don't
Hmm.
they are actors. They are paid actors. That's it.
Yep. And I think that's also why everybody was so drawn to Trump, and it still is because they can't buy him.
Yeah, no,
What
they
with
can't buy
what?
him. Yeah.
He's worth more than all of these companies combined anyway.
Yep.
So what are you paying for?
Yeah.
There, he is very quick to give the middle finger and just be like, "What for? What? You can't. There's nothing that you can give me that I don't already have."
Yeah.
So
They don't like him because he cares about us, like the people, right? Like cuz he knows that we the people are the reason that he is so wealthy, you know? And he knows that
mhm.
if anybody wants to be wealthy, we all have to contribute together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's getting him out of office was the worst thing, and nobody was wanting to listen to him. And now they're just like, "Oh, okay, we were wrong. My bad. This was a major fuck up,
Yeah.
and we're paying for it."
Yeah.
And for Biden to be like, "Oh, I am not the worst president," bro. Say a sentence.
Say a
One sentence.
sentence. Yeah.
You
Don't
can
read
say
off
one
the
sentence.
teleprompter.
Yeah, I will vote for you if you say one sentence.
All right, so I got one more question here. So how is dating as a trans man? Because I'm doing an interview next week for like singles and like what it's like to be in the dating world today. And so I have to ask you what it's like dating, especially in today's day and age, but as a trans man in general.
Oh God, I that's really hard. Um, Dating in general is hard, let alone. I don't think it's hard just because everyone is more accepting. However, finding someone now because of all the bullshit in society is hard. I was actually pretty lucky to find my girlfriend now, just because she actually found me, which is really weird. Um, but I was single for 3.5 years.
Hmm.
Um, and I really wasn't looking at all. But I think it's just hard in general nowadays, whether without being trans, to be dating in this day and age.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, being trans, honestly, I think it's easier being a trans guy dating than a trans woman.
Yeah.
We can hide being a woman 1,000% because this gets more masculine. Trans woman, you don't get feminine until you go through 1,000 surgeries.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
really hard because you cannot hide this without years of just being pumped with so many surgeries. But um, it's just hard in general, and the acceptance is really hard because you got to accept yourself first before you expect anybody else to accept you.
Right.
And I was one of those people who didn't want to tell anybody.
Mm.
And you get into a relationship and you're like, yeah, I'll tell them later. I'll tell them later. And then eventually you're like, but they accepted me. So why should I tell them? So,
See,
and
that
then
was
you
my
go into,
next question was, do you disclose that information right away, or does that depend on the person?
I think it depends on whether or not you trust the person enough to disclose it. And I'm not the type of person to really trust people. So I'm not comfortable with disclosing, at least in the past. Now I'm just all over, it's all over TikTok. So here we are.
Yeah.
But too late now. But uh, in the past, yeah, no, I never disclosed it. So my partners didn't know in the and that caused a huge rift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which in the past it was fine because that actually clearly didn't work out. But with with my girlfriend now, she stalked me before she talked to me.
Hmm.
So I'm just like, she already knew. But within like an hour of talking to her, I was like, look, this is what it is. And I'm too old to deal with bullshit anymore. So I was
Yeah.
just like, if you like me, you like me. You don't, you don't. I really don't care. And at that point, we were just friends talking. So I was just like, this is who I am. If you want to still be friends, cool. If you don't, you can walk. I don't care
Yeah.
because I don't have time to play around. She was just like, first off, I don't give a fuck. Second off, I'm just here to make friends. Well, clearly that didn't work out the way she planned. So,
That's
and it just
cool.
kind of took off from there. And it was, for me, it was easy, which was really nice.
That's yeah.
Um, but honestly, just tell them from the jump. People are so scared. Well, what about them accepting me? Who cares? People care. Don't just don't care. If you want somebody in your life who doesn't accept you for who you are, why are you so pressed to have them in your life to begin with? I have a ton of friends. At least I feel like there's a ton of friends, but I have so many people who are very close knit to me that are so few and far between. Like I have very few people that are my best friends, and those are very hand picked and took many years for me to just be like, I trust you enough to not screw me over.
Yeah.
And it took 35 plus years for me to get those people. So it's not an easy process to know who's going to be there for you and who's not. And people are so worried about, oh, what do you think of me? And, all of this other bullshit. Just stop. If they don't want to be in your life, don't let them be in your life. Who gives a shit? Just let them go. 90%, 95% of the people in the world don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
You're lucky to have 1% of the people out there to actually care enough about you to check up on
Yeah.
you. And those are the people that you put your effort into. Everyone else, they can get fucked. As long as you have that mentality, then you'll be good. But the only person you can depend on is yourself. If you let yourself down, then you got more problems than what you need. But depend on yourself. Everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. So how does your girlfriend feel about your videos, like what you say in your videos?
Oh, she loves it. But I'm gonna hold that thought for a second because I gotta go to the bathroom. So give me just a few
Okay.
moments. If you want to
Okay.
pause, when I tell you I need a penis for just for clearly convenience purposes, so I can
You
pee
know,
outside.
they make those little they're like camping devices, but they do make little pee mates for women so you can be standing up. I use them all the time.
I'm gonna try those. I have it. My girlfriend's just like, "You want to try it?" I was like, "Sure," but I'm the most uncoordinated peer just sitting down. But I mean, we can give it a try. She goes, "I'm gonna buy one for you." I was like, "Okay, I don't care. It's
Oh, that's
fine.
great.
You do you."
So, speaking of bathrooms,
But yeah.
how do you feel about the bathroom issue?
Oh, I don't give a shit. I've been using the men's bathroom since I was 14. But for other people, um, like the trans men or trans women, I should say, that are not transitioning, um, no, absolutely not. So I understand the processes of it being a requirement. I totally get that because, per part of the therapy and all of that other fun stuff and everything, it is needed. However, if you're not going through the the therapy and the steps needed to change and transition, and you just say you're trans just to get into the access of it, you need to show proof. If you don't look like that gender, show me the doctor's note
Yeah.
that states that you are transitioning. You can carry around the therapy note saying, "Hey, I'm going through therapy to transition. Show me that proof."
Yeah.
Because this whole Planet Fitness crap, you're putting little kids at risk
Yep.
by saying that you're transitioning and you're doing all this other stuff, and everybody is saying, "Well, you're discriminating." Well, no, because if you're saying I'm discriminating, but yet you're not standing up for the rights of these little girls, possibly being raped and sexually assaulted, as well as adult women, whose side are you on? Because now it is taking sides.
Well, right. And like from what I understood, real trans people, they don't like to show off their biological parts, right? So like as a trans woman, you wouldn't want your balls and penis hanging out for the world to see. Am I wrong?
Nope. We're very
Exactly.
discreet. Yeah, we're very discreet because we don't want to show that aspect because we're not comfortable with it. We're like if I can avoid going into a locker room, an all men's locker room, I will. Even to this day, I don't
Yeah.
do it. If there's a family bathroom option, I'll go into there. If there's a unisex bathroom, I'll go into there as much as possible.
Yeah.
Unless I see a family that needs to use that bathroom in itself, then I won't take that bathroom up. I'll let the family go into that bathroom and I'll go use the men's bathroom, whatever the case is. It's about common courtesy. If you don't have
Yep.
that, then you're a problem. But if you go into saying, and I'm going to hate using this term, but Planet Fitness, um, I used to be part of that gym. I didn't go around naked into the men's locker room. I went
Right.
into a stall and I changed into a stall because first and foremost, that's their locker room. That's not my locker room. But I'm not going to go into the women's locker room because I had a beard.
Yeah.
And I'm not walking around in there because, well, first off, the guys are going to come into the women's and kick my ass. Secondly, the women are not going to be comfortable whether I'm trans or not.
Yeah.
And third, that's not my locker room anymore. I go into the men's locker room, but the men are not going to want to see me naked.
Right.
And it's their space. I'm a guest. I show them the respect that they need. Whether I want to see their shit, it doesn't matter. I'm a guest.
Yeah.
They have every right to roam around naked in their place. I have to be respectful of them, go into a stall, change, and then come out and leave. I go in there as little time as possible. I spend in that room, and then I go.
Yep. I mean, that was the way I was as a child. Cause I mean, I look the way I look, and going into back in the day anyway, going into a girl's bathroom was really awkward for me. I used to get the stares and the like, oh, there's a boy in here. It's like, no, no.
Trust me,
Yeah.
these say otherwise. Like I got those same stares as well. So yeah, and it was just like because they would look at me because I wear the baggy clothes and everything. I was like, I got tits. I
Yep.
promise you, I got tits. I would
Yep.
not be in this locker room or this bathroom. They're like, I was like, believe me, I do not want to be in here. They're like, oh, okay. I was like, and I was in Maryland, so it was like, so finally I was just like, you know what, fuck it. If you think I'm a guy and I'm scaring you, I'm gonna go into the guys. And I started going into the guys, no issues. The guys
Yep.
just kind of looked, and I just looked like one of those femboys that hadn't
Yeah.
hit puberty yet. And I would just go in and I would go use the stall and I would just stay there for like a couple minutes. Like I was doing more than what I was and walk out. They no questions. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this works. Cool. And I just continued doing it. And I stayed out of it. Was weird going into a women's restroom after about 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people when it comes to the bathroom debate, for me anyway, for my own personal issue, like my own personal opinion, if you look like the gender that you're trying to portray yourself as, you should use that fucking gender bathroom, right? Like, have you ever
Mhm.
heard of Blair White? She's a
I
trans.
follow her.
I
Yeah.
fucking love Blair White. But, like, for instance, Blair White should not be going into the men's bathroom, period. Like, that is one trans man or trans woman that should never enter a men's bathroom because, I mean, she would be assaulted instantly.
Yeah.
And, but there's also that, what's his name, Buck Angel.
Hmm.
You would never want Buck Angel to walk into a women's bathroom. So, like, if you are actually going through the process and you look like the sex that you're trying to change into, you should go into that bathroom.
Yeah. And yeah, if you've already done that transition, and it doesn't take long, it
Right.
really doesn't. Within a year, you're already looking like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And but granted, male to female is a little bit harder, but you know, it is what it is. But you can tell the people who aren't taking the estrogen.
Yeah.
You might not have that massively feminine face, but if you're taking estrogen, that 5 o'clock shadow goes. It's a lot more lightened. Your face does get a little bit more feminized. You can tell that process. And God, I hate using this person's name, but Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh.
I know. I know. If I said it, but they are injecting. They are genuinely transitioning.
Yeah.
Um, I just have zero respect for them
Yeah.
because of everything going on. But they are genuinely transitioning. They are getting. I mean, granted, they are having this Botox and things like that, but
I
their
think it's
features are
forced.
softening up. Do what?
I think it's forced. I think that
Oh,
Dylan Mulvaney is like it's like a prop. It's like another
yeah.
puppet on a string. That she was paid, he was paid, whatever, whatever you want to call
Mm, yeah. Utmost disrespect. Um, yeah. It's just some trans people I will never be okay with
him.
respecting pronouns, or even if they're not trans. Mm-mm. But yeah, it's just I think they are absolutely using this as a prop, and but you can tell from the very beginning to now everything is getting feminine. But them going into a men's bathroom is not going to work.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is nowadays. It's not going to happen. So after a certain period of time, you cannot go into that gender's bathroom. And here's another one: Jeffrey Marsh.
Oh.
I know, but they say they're non-binary trans. Um, but if it goes into a woman's bathroom, that's an issue.
Yeah.
You go into a men's bathroom. I don't care what you call yourself. You don't step foot into a men's bathroom
You
or
don't
a woman's
step,
bathroom.
yeah, you don't step foot into a woman's bathroom with makeup on and a fucking 5 o'clock shadow. What is that? Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
And you don't shave all the time. Like you're not even taking estrogen. And that's the trans that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
You're transvestite. You're not transgender like you're saying you are. And that's where a
That's
lot of people are having an issue with. And that's what I'm having an issue with. Call yourself transvestite. That's okay. If you're properly using that term, I can get behind non-binary transvestite. I cannot get behind non-binary transgender. You see the big difference there? But nobody wants to use the term transvestite. It's not a
it's like
bad term,
offensive now.
but it's not a bad term. I look, I grew up 40 minutes away from DC, okay? Fucking transvestites were all over the place. I grew up near Rockville, all right? Rockville was the like main hub to get to DC. That was like our back road, and it wasn't even a back road. It was like the busiest main street without actually being on a main road
Hmm.
to get to the back end of DC if you didn't want to take the highway. And there was transvestites all up and down that bitch. It was like Hooker Central, but transvestite without actually getting laid. So you would see them all up and down. That was like a Friday night on a Monday. And there was nothing wrong with it. We would just see guys in dresses and wigs, what we would call nowadays prostitutes, but they were transvestites. Who
Yeah.
cares? And me and my best friend at the time, we just looked, we were like, all right, cool, nice try. And we would go about our day. It was that nonchalant. But that falls under the trans umbrella. I can agree with that. But they're arguing with me on it being transgender. Bro, it is not transgender. It's just transvestite. And just because you have a hard time saying you're a transvestite is not my fucking problem. You're just mad that you don't want to be called it because you think it's derogatory. What's derogatory about it? Nothing. It's just a word. But everybody is offended nowadays.
Yeah.
But non-binary can go with transvestite. I can see what that those two going together still possibly doesn't make 100% sense.
Yeah.
But it goes better than non-binary transgender.
See, and the way I grew up, it was never transgender. It was always transsexual because you were trying to change your sex. Gender, in my opinion, is just it's just a social ideologue, or it's how you identify, I guess, socially. But like in reality, you are like you, for instance, you're changing, you're not necessarily changing your sex because you can't do that, but you are changing your appearance, right? The appearance of your sex is not female anymore, it's male. Does that make sense? I think I just butchered that, but
Oh, you absolutely fucking butchered that. And frankly, I mean, honestly, with it, I kind of get what you're saying, but honestly, it to me, this whole gender and out of the entire motherfucking parking lot, this is what I get. This right here. This whole parking lot of Walmart. The entire thing of gender and sex and all of that. It's just like the TQIA to me. I don't care. I don't understand the whole thing. Look, if you want to change something, change it. I'm just literally a magic trick. Like you will never know what I have done to myself unless you know who I am.
yeah.
So what my gender or my sex is, it doesn't matter. You think my gender and sex is exactly who I am today. Gender and sex doesn't matter. And personally, to me, they're the same if you don't know that person. Because unless you know what I have, gender and sex are the same. Nothing has changed. If you have never seen my TikTok, we have never met before in our lives, my gender and sex are the same thing to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess to me, gender and sex are basically the same thing. That's what I always thought it was, right? But in like today's society, the way they make it out is that, gender is like a social ideologue, and sex is what you were born with, or what you were born as, whatever you want to call it. And that's how
And
they explain it to you in these like socialist schools, in these universities. That's how they explain
uh,
it to you.
yeah, ask him how many genders there are too. So it's complete and utter bullshit. Like
Yeah, it's confusing.
everything is confusing because that's how they get. Because here's the thing: is just like with that whole bullshit of that one person trying to, throw me on this whole all these trans are being murdered, and then they go, oh, it's only about equality. It's all gaslight. And the funny thing is that if I never had ex girlfriends, I wouldn't know what the fuck gaslighting was, because everybody is doing it in this new community. I never talked about that. What are you talking about? I never said this. I was just talking about this, but you're bringing up this. Wait a fucking second. No, you were literally just talking about this. I completely took you out of this conversation because I just gave you all of these facts. And now you can't come back at me about this. And now you're saying, well, I was just only wanting to know about this. I don't know why you're getting so mad. Because
Yeah.
I just wanted to know about this one. So now what they're doing is, well, these two are two totally different things. And you're not understanding these 5,000 points. And then when you're like, well, each one of these points, here are the reasons why these don't make any sense. Well, they're coming back and saying, well, I only wanted to know about this point. Why are you telling me about all of this other stuff when I didn't ask about it? You're like,
It's like
wait,
you're not
what?
paying attention at all.
Yeah, it's like I, I answered everything, and you're just like, no, I didn't say any of that. I just wanted to know about this thing, and you're acting crazy now. And you're just like, wait, what? And now you're confused, going, wait, did I do something wrong? And that's how they fucking get you. And it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, now you're like, I don't even want to deal with this, and they're expecting everybody to back down.
Yeah.
And they're just like, just accept it because this is what we want to do, and you're just going to do as we say. And then when people aren't backing down, they're like, oh, now we're going to make you look crazy. Now we're going to make you seem like you're the a-hole, and you're going to conform to exactly what we want you to conform to. And if you don't, we're going to try and get you canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart. You don't understand how far I will go and how many accounts I will fucking make, and I will find you on every single account because I have nothing else to do after work. I have nothing to do at work half the time, okay? Because
Yeah, me neither. I get paid to
yeah,
sit in the car, so.
right? Like I'm in my car at Walmart right now. And I can promise you at work, if I'm not doing something, I am on TikTok. Okay. I will find you. And I will go to the break room and I will make another TikTok. Because like here we are. Don't underestimate what I will do. I am petty and I won't go to lengths to make you look like an idiot. Just like I will make endless amounts of TikToks about you. And then I will block you because you told me I shouldn't block people.
So is that what, like, I guess, why did you start making the videos that you make?
Repeat that again. There was a call coming in and I muted you.
Oh, so why did you, like, what made you start making the videos that you make?
I got tired of the bullshit. I really got tired of people acting like the victim and portraying the community in a bad light. Um, we're not bad people. We're not this loud.
Yeah.
And I think what really kicked it off was Pride Month.
Yeah.
Why are we celebrated? Why? I mean, I understand Pride Day. I even understand a week. Like, I get that the bullshit that we went through. I get that. I understand a few days. Like, we can celebrate, you know, for all of the Matthew Shepherds, all of the Ritas, all of the, all the crap we went through in the 90s, 80s, and all of that shit. But for a month,
Yeah.
what are we celebrating? Why us? What makes us so special? Why are we getting babies? There's nothing special about being a human being.
Right. There's
There's
nothing special about being a lesbian or being gay
no,
or anything.
no. It's just we were born this way. Like we were born exactly like everybody else was. It's
Yeah.
just we have a different preference, and it's not even that different. 1,000 years ago, everybody was gay.
Yeah.
Everybody, like Jesus, like we're not different than our ancestors. Being straight was different. And they didn't have Pride Month. No, they just got pegged. Like, who cares? It's the same thing. It's just, we just went back in reverse and then we had to refight for being who we naturally are in ancient history. But why isn't everybody else getting something celebrated? We have Black History Month. We have, all these other
Asian,
months.
it's like Asian Appropriation Month or something like that.
Right. I mean, yeah, we got something. I don't know. Like, but we don't have, God, we have March Madness. We have basketball month, but we
Yeah.
don't have anything to celebrate, white people month, or we don't have anything to celebrate anything else. It's like we're forgetting everything that isn't straight, white, normal, like whatever. But everything else is being celebrated. And it's okay to put down somebody if they're straight and white or whatever the case is. No. The second you post that, it's going to get a lot of hate. But it's like, where's the lie? Like, somebody please tell me that's not facts. Because nobody's getting put down for somebody saying, I don't like white people, or
Yeah.
all black schools, or all this, all of that. And it's like,
It's reverse segregation.
it is, but I want an all white school.
And that's racism.
Oh, why you want the KKK to come back up? Like, okay, but we can have an all black school, but we can have an all Asian school. We can have all of these other schools,
Yeah.
but have an all white school. Now it's an issue.
Yeah.
But, and then all of a sudden we have an all Pride month. And then we're going to have more all Pride stuff, all Pride, everything else.
Yep. Rainbows are going to be everywhere.
Yeah, we don't need to be celebrated. We're not some homage to, be like, oh my God, you're gay, you're special, you're trans, you're special. No, we're not. No. We're not anything. We're just human. We go to work, we pay, but if we were special, we wouldn't pay bills. We pay bills. I have a car payment. Like, I've been sitting here wasting 4 miles of gas. Like, I gotta pay for that again. But, yeah, it's bullshit. But, privilege to the gays. Here we are.
Right.
I'm not even gay. Well, technically I'm gay, but society thinks I'm straight, but
Yeah.
spicy straight. It's just like fuck.
So
Like I can
do you feel more threatened and unsafe now that you've come out as a trans man who just so happens to disagree with the everything on the left?
I don't feel threatened at all. I would love, and it's the community that I would be more scared of.
Yeah.
I'm not threatened by the community because, well, first, I can't be threatened by somebody who ate Tide Pods. First off, secondly, for what? Look, the scariest person in my life is my dad. Okay,
Yeah.
and
I feel that.
even then, like, I will go toe to toe with him. I love my father. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more scared to tell him that I'm moving to a different city and he's 3,000 miles away. I'm 42. I don't want to tell my dad I'm moving. I already have. I've already moved, by the way. But I am not worried if somebody comes to my city and is just like, hey, I'm in your city. I'm about to come to your house. Okay, come to my house. I work I work at a job where I've gotten bomb threats, death threats, all of that stuff. That's the nature of my business. I'm not scared of anybody online.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Like I said, I've been called worse by better people. I really don't care.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy talking to you. We're gonna have to have like a real conversation, maybe just not recorded.
Yeah, yeah, because those intrusive thoughts do not need to be online. So, yeah, that's I don't know how dark your sense of humor is, but it does not
um
need to be recorded.
I'm definitely not one of those sensitive little snowflakes either. So
Okay, good. Yeah, because it can get deep. It will go down like to the depths of caves on darkness on where my mindset will go. So if we
I
have
mean,
this off of recording,
I'm pretty much an asshole on my podcast. My wife has told me that I needed to tone it down. So
oh, mine too. She was like, "Yeah, you
yeah,
probably shouldn't have said that." I was like, "Yeah,
yeah,
but let's see where this goes."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Well, I
but I
do
appreciate
appreciate
it.
you taking the time to even have a conversation with me. It's pretty cool.
Oh, of course. No, I appreciate you for inviting me, but yeah, we're definitely gonna have to have more conversation. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you have another question, I still got some time. But if not, like it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you.
I mean, I don't think I have any more questions. Oh, well, I guess this one, what are some things you would say to the parents who are considering putting their child through the process of transitioning? Right? So like say a parent has a 10-year-old and they're like, "My child is trans." What would you say to them at this point?
Don't. But can you really get through to people like that? Like if they're already gung ho and set on it, don't. Um, I mean, I've seen parents who are on this trend and they're unfortunately so far gone into the trend that there's no changing their mind. Um, however, they're gonna be possibly the ones where they're like, I don't understand why my kid doesn't talk to me. Why are you leaving me alone,
Yeah.
and why do you not have a relationship with me? Because you destroyed their life. Just let them make the decision. Don't do anything. Let them. Every kid goes through the phase of wearing high heels and dresses and everything like that. Don't let them go through the phase. Each kid just it's curiosity. Every child just runs through it. I mean, my cousin did it. Everybody thought he was be gay. He would be gay. So what? Let him wear high heels, run around. He falls. He falls. Who cares? Just let him be curious. If the kid comes to you and says, "I'm trans," where'd you learn it?
Right? Where
No,
did you
nobody
learn it?
knows. Yeah, what school taught you? Because I didn't teach you nothing, or parents didn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
Um, so figure out where that mentality is coming from, and if it's not from you, then but that needs to be stopped immediately and figured out. Just don't transition anything. Let them grow up and let them be themselves. Let them
Yeah.
explore, but
They need to
leave it
figure
alone.
that out as an adult. Because, I mean, you have to go through puberty. And, I mean, in my opinion, you have to go through puberty to even know what the fuck you want as an adult. Because if you don't go through puberty, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know what you want.
Right. And your hormones change the second you hit puberty. Like your
Yeah.
mind changes all the time. So
Yeah.
let those hormones play out. Let the change happen. And by the time they hit 13 or 14, they can be like, oh shit, yeah, I really didn't want to go through that. And I've had a ton of conversation with people like, I'm just a tomboy.
Yep.
Even to this day, I'm just a tomboy. I like dressing in guys' clothes. I can dress up, but I love being a woman.
Yeah.
If I would have transitioned, it would have been a biggest regret of my life. So let him be
Yeah.
a tomboy.
I've said that so many times. Like, if I was growing up in today's society, I'd have been forced to be a trans man, and I'm not. Like, I love being a woman, Like, I
Hmm.
mean, back in the day, I mean, I it's offensive to say what I used to call myself back in the day. I used to be called a dyke, and it wasn't offensive. That's what I was.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I was called a fucking Butch Dyke. Okay,
Yeah.
like what do you want me to say to that? Like, is it wrong? Nope, because that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I would get pissed that you would call me a girl. That right there should have been a clicker on saying, "Oh yeah, you're definitely not just a woman. Like
Yeah.
you're not a girl." But I didn't know what trans was. I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with anybody who was part of that group. So I didn't have transvestite. I didn't have trans. I had gays, but even then they were just like, I don't know. But I mean, we went to Gay Town, DC all the time. I
Yeah.
still never saw anybody of that nature in that crowd. We had drag queens
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
the place, but never anybody who came out as transgender or transvestite. It was
Yeah.
just, it was the LGB
Yep.
and, drag queen. That was it, but none of the T. So I really didn't have anybody to really talk to. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. But you call somebody dyke nowadays, oh, you get your ass handed to you.
It's a big deal. And I'm like, that's what I was. That's what I am. What are you doing? I'm calling myself that. What are you? You're mad that I called
You're
myself
mad.
that?
Like you're mad that I'm offending myself. I'm not offending myself. I promise you, I'm okay with it. And they're like, but you shouldn't talk down about yourself. No, I'm not. Trust me, it's fine. It's like and people get upset for you for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, you got to understand, it's okay. I'm okay calling. Just like when I tell people, I was like, you do not have to respect my pronouns. I am who I am. I have it even in my profile. I'm a tranny.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm a shim. All trannies are shims. If you get pissed off at being called a shim, then clearly that you get offended by every fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like you're she him. I don't care who you are. You're female to male, male to female. You're a she and a him at the same fucking time. You can't get around that. All trans
Yeah.
are. It's as simple as that. But don't get mad about it. It's just a term.
Yeah.
You don't like it, you don't like it. I won't call it to you if you get offended by it. That's fine. But I'm not calling you a they them. That's
Yeah.
I'll
That's
use it
where
in
I
the
draw the
proper
line too.
context. But if it's on the proper context and you're standing right there, you're not a they them. You're a she, her, he, him, whatever. But that they are not there. Then my brain
There's
does
not
not compute.
multiple.
Stupid. No, unless you're a Siamese twin, you're not a they them.
What do you think
That
about the books that they have in schools?
the fact that people are fighting so hard to keep those in school,
Have you seen some
it
of them?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kiddie porn.
Exactly. I mean, not
That
only is it kiddie porn, but they're literally they're teaching children how to look up stuff on the internet in these books, and I'm like, what the hell? 10, 15 years ago you'd go to jail for that.
yeah, but that's what I was saying is that they're accepting these pedos.
Yeah. They've
That's what's
infiltrated the
separating them.
community for sure. They've
Yep,
infiltrated the gay community 100%.
yep, and that's why I'm saying old and new community because the old community would not accept anybody that was part of that bullshit. We fought against it. We fought so hard to keep that bullshit out of our community.
Mhm.
And the new community is like, oh, you're trans? That's fine. Come on in. You're fine because you're part of the community. It doesn't matter what you do. And we're like, no, mm-mm. You touch a child, you're out.
Yeah.
There is no way. I don't care if you are gay. If you touch a child, you are out of this community. We don't accept you. And we hold strong to that bullshit. That's why there's LGBT and then there's TQIA. Because
Yeah.
LGBT doesn't accept pedos. I don't care if you want to call yourself a map, I don't give a fuck. You're a
Yeah.
pedophile.
Yeah. You don't do
You're
that
out.
around me. I will
No,
shoot
you
you
are out.
on sight.
Yep, absolutely. You're not playing that bullshit at all. And I might not I don't have patience for children, not all of them.
Yeah.
I would me personally, I would not be good with a biological kid. I the way I grew up, I just don't have patience. Ever since I was a kid, I'm like, I'm not having kids. I do not have the temperament. I love my girlfriend's kid. He is awesome. I will do anything for that child. Even if I did not like him, if somebody laid a finger on him, I will empty every single round that I have
Yeah.
and I won't stop. There is no
Yeah.
way in hell somebody is touching that child. I might not agree with kids. I might not want all of these kids in my house and I might get frustrated. But you touch them, we are going rounds.
Yeah.
Kids are the
Yeah, that
draw the line.
that movie Sound of Freedom, man, that movie had me leaving the movie theater wanting to go hunt pedophiles.
Yeah, it's hard line. Like I
Yeah.
0 to 17, it's
Yep.
man that's a hard line for me, and it's really weird 'cause people are just like, but you don't even like kids. I was like,
You don't have to like
but
kids to want to protect them.
yeah, I was like that's a whole different type of innocence right there. Like you keep them as bubbled as possible. Like you teach them about life, but you keep them bubbled as possible. And it's not the fact that I don't like kids. It's just the fact that my temperament is just a totally different ball game. I have a lot of patience with my girlfriend's child. I mean, he's a fantastic kid,
Yeah.
and I could not have asked for a better child. Um, and I think he's one of the main ones that I have patience for, to be quite honest with you. But it it's a totally different ball game. It's just like compared to kids nowadays, and that's what I'm worried about. Kids nowadays, I just look at them and I'm like, like
Yeah.
5 minutes in a room with you, and I'm just like, I am glad that I have yeeted everything out of me.
That's all that gentle parenting bullshit, man. Kids today don't even know what a good ass whooping is, so
Spare the rod. And I gotta say, her son has never gotten spanked at all, and he that one is a rare case because it was spare the rod, but he is not spoiled. He's a good kid. He listens, but some kids need the entire whole just
yeah.
brought down on them, and
Telling you, it's that gentle parenting. You got to be stricter than most of parents are. You just got to be an asshole sometimes. You just got to be. My dad was a total asshole sometimes, and I turned out just fine.
Yeah, I got spanked. I got all
Yeah.
of it, and I turned out just fine. Honestly, just peel the labels off.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. I just enjoy life. We'll just. You know, people were pissed at Thanos. I think half the population now is in agreement with Thanos
Yep.
because
Just
I
just do it.
wholeheartedly just empathize on because I would be pissed if they're like, "Why'd you reverse it? Why? Like I did us a favor. Like I am mad now that you brought all these people back. Like come on." All the hard work, and that's the way I feel with the new community. Like all this hard work
Yeah. Yeah.
gone, and then they compared Matthew Shepard to Next Benedict. I'm like,
Oh, really?
oh, you didn't see that video? Oh,
Uh-uh.
yeah. I got my blood boiling.
Hmm.
That that did me. I saw that. It was instant pissed. And yeah, somebody posted that it was almost like the same. I was like, oh no, no, we're not playing this game.
Huh.
Um, and 'cause we don't know the full details on Next. I get it, but they're making it seem like that Next is a martyr. I'm like, what the? Next was a bully. What are you talking about? Next started half the crap that was going on. Matthew Shepard was beaten to death without any
Yeah.
being provoking to anybody, and
Yeah.
Next is starting half the battle that they were uh, causing, and it's like Next wasn't murdered. I don't she him. I don't even know what they were going off of, but
Hmm.
they killed themselves. And
Oh, yeah, that's not the same at all.
no, and then you're saying these girls killed Next. I'm like, are you shitting me right now? Next committed suicide, and you're trying to compare her to or him. I don't know to Matthew Shepard. I was like, seriously,
Yeah,
please don't
that's
compare that.
no. Because that the
That
Matthew Shepard story, I mean, that was like the turning point for the gay community. It was a
there's
huge
a
turning point.
there's a lot of laws that are still into effect today because of Matthew Shepard.
Yeah.
And I think Rita something, I forgot her last name, but the trans woman that died a few years before Shepard, that a lot of trans laws passed because of her. Um,
And then there's the Tina Brandon story. Nobody ever
yeah, and
even
then
talks about Tina Brandon.
honestly, I'm one of those people because I don't even know who that
Oh, really? You don't know who Tina Brandon
is.
is? She was so she was a she's a trans man. So she was I don't even know how to describe her because she was trying to go through the transition, but she hadn't actually started any transitions. But she was murdered in Lincoln, Nebraska in like 1986, I think it was. Um, she was raped and murdered in Lincoln, Nebraska for pretending to be a boy.
Wait a second, did they make a movie?
Yeah, it's called
Um,
Boys Don't Cry.
yes, with Swanson, Swank, Hillary
Hillary
Swank.
Swank, yeah, yeah, Swank, yeah,
Yes,
yep. That was my favorite movie growing up. It's my favorite movie growing up.
I was like, wait a second, I don't remember Tina, but I remember that movie because
Yeah,
my best friend was just like, we need to watch it because he felt like I was toting that line. He goes,
yeah,
you need to watch that movie. I was like, okay, and he was just like, please watch the movie. He goes,
yeah,
I feel like you're going through this line because I was doing that. He was like, I feel like you're doing the same thing. I was like, okay, and I was like, let me watch it. And so I was like, oh. He goes, yeah, I don't want this to happen to you. I was like, okay.
yeah.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, that was very sad. Very.
Yeah, that movie, I mean, that was one of the biggest reasons why I was always so cautious as a child, as a teenager going into my adult years. I was really scared, because I was scared that I was going to get beaten up or, raped or killed for being what I am.
And it was a double-edged sword because if you came out, you got your butt handed to you. If you
Yeah.
didn't, you still got the same result. So it was
Yeah.
like, what do? You can't stay quiet, but you can't come out. So you were just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And if you told, like, we were just like, I don't understand where to go from here. So, and my friend,
Yeah.
when, because we were, it was what, 98 when Shepard got killed out in
Hmm.
Colorado. And it was, we were just hitting, I was hitting ninth grade. And my friend was like, this is why I won't come out. And I'm like, I mean, that's totally fair. You're scared to come out. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, and I knew I was, I mean, back then I knew I was gay.
Yeah.
And I didn't come out because, back then I'm just like, fuck that. I'm not getting my ass beat. Um, so we both were just kind of recluse back in type of thing. And I never dated anybody. I kept it to myself. I never dated anybody at my school, nothing like that.
Hmm.
Um, because I didn't want to. My school was very preppy, very just, and I didn't want that bullshit. I don't want nobody near me at my school, nothing like that. I was like, I don't like y'all. Like, I'll just stick with my friends. I don't want to date nobody from my school. I was like, y'all drama. I want to go out. I don't want nobody tied to me, nothing. If I want to enjoy going out with my friends, that's fine. I don't want nobody tagging along. So I never dated anybody in the same city as me.
Huh.
Um, so, but and that was so much easier. I'm just like, no. And that's when AOL was out,
Yeah.
the Running Man and everything. So I just went online. I was just like, I'll just start typing online, just have fun with that for a while. So teenage years, I was technically single because how else are they gonna know? It's online. Who cares? Um, but it was just, it was a really hard time with Matthew Shepard. And that was, and then all of a sudden you had all of these other deaths coming out of gay people.
Yeah.
And people were pissed that the laws were getting passed. And
Yeah.
now people are like, oh, we're being oppressed. For what? You don't know oppression. You're what,
Yeah.
15? You're 15. You were born in 2008 with no oppression, and you're mad.
Yeah.
For what? Okay, sure. But, gotta love self entitlement.
Yeah. Gotta love this new generation.
Yeah, they just came out angry. I don't know what for. Like, what are you mad
I
about, bro?
mean, everybody's angry.
Yeah, I don't know what for though. Like, they just see something in and it's funny because so many people have reached out to me and they go, I don't understand what to do with my kids. Like, they came out as trans, and if I support them, they're mad. If I don't support them, they're mad. I'm like, uh, move out. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can't support them and then they're angry saying they're homophobic or transphobic. But so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm just like, I don't get it. And it's like the parents can't do anything right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you because if my girlfriend's kid came up to me and was just like, "Hey, I'm trans," he never would because you would tell by now. The kid is in love with his own body parts, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna have a lot of stiff talks. But like, I'm just like, just get the black ones and we wash those separately. That's pretty much where this is going. But like, if he ever came and was part of the community, it's just like, okay, bro, go have fun. Like,
Yeah.
here's some condoms, make sure they're clean. Like, that's all. Like, here's how you do everything, you know. here's step 1 through 300. Make sure you don't you clean yourself. Like that's pretty much all we're
Wash your
asking.
ass.
Yeah. Make sure that they wash theirs too if you're gonna be a topper. You know what I'm saying? If you're a bottom, wash your ass. Like we'll get you everything for it. Go to your mother on that one. She's bi. She knows what she's doing. Frankly, I like just go to your mother. I'm not having this conversation. You know what? Go to your father. He apparently likes that. I don't know. I'm not the one on this one. I don't like. I do things to your mother. I don't do anything else. I don't like. I'm not even the one for you to go to on the stiff stock thing because yeah, that's not me. Go to your dad. Go to your brother. I don't know. But yeah, this poor kid. He's oh god. Yeah,
Yeah.
this I'm glad I'm not growing up in this generation.
Oh man, these poor kids. I do feel really bad, but at the same time, like the reason why I feel like we have to defend these kids is because they're our future. They are the future of humanity. Unfortunately, like these kids, this next generation, they're our future.
Yeah. As long as we actually have a few that aren't the woke, we'll be fine. Because I think now it's becoming a lot of people are raising their children to be non woke.
Yeah, we
And
try.
well, I think it's gonna happen because my girlfriend's kid is gonna be that way. Accept all, but don't be an idiot.
Well, and that's the thing is like most of these schools, like if you're sending your child to a public school, I mean, you should just automatically expect indoctrination. If you're sending your child to any university, you should automatically expect indoctrination.
Yeah, and that's the problem is that we also are teaching him think for yourself. Um, and he's a smart kid. Like he even blows my mind on some of the stuff he says. I was like, how do you know this? It's like he's one of those kids that already knows something without wondering how he actually knows it.
Yeah.
It's like master of all trades, jack of all trades, master of none. Um, so I'm not overly worried about him because he questions everything, and I'm not worried about him just being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the flow because he's like, well, why are you doing this? And he trusts nobody. Like
Oh, that's
he is
good.
very skeptical on even with me. He's just like, I don't trust you because he knows that he's like, fool me once and you're not gonna do that again. Um, which sucks because now I can't prank him on anything. But he's only known me for like 6 months, so he already knows that I'm just gonna prank him on everything to see if I can get away with it. But he's not that idiot kid who just falls for everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm not worried about him, but he will also be like, "Hey, somebody told me this today. What like I don't get it." And me and his mom were like, "Oh hell no. Uh-uh. We're not. This is what's going on." And he'll be like, "Oh." And
Hmm.
then he'll go out and make his own conclusion about it.
Yeah.
If we warn him about something and he still doesn't, we're like, "Well, that's your fault."
Yeah.
So she's not raising an idiot. She's raising him with consequences. These are your actions. This is the consequence to it. If you chose to do this, that's on you. Like, we warned you not to do it. Now this is your action.
Yeah.
So, he's very much being raised as a Gen X.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So, thank God, because I was like, you raise a bitch, we're gonna have a problem. Because I am not gonna come in and be able to have some crybaby kid. She's
Yeah.
like, oh no, and she's not a Gen Xer, she's a millennial, but she's like, I'm not raising a kid who's gonna cry over everything.
See, I'm a millennial, but I'm like at the very beginning of the millennial generation because I was born in '88, which is like right at the very end of Gen X. It's the very end.
which which is funny because they're like Gen X ended in 80. I'm 82.
No, technically it was supposed to have ended in 86, right? That's what I remember. It's 86 is when it ended.
I don't know because they're like, oh no, it went to 1980. Then they're like 82. Oh no, it's 84. Now it's 80. I'm like, y'all, I swear to God, if y'all don't get your shit straight on when Gen X ended, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not part of anything. I don't know.
Yep.
I have no clue. So I don't know where I'm at.
As far
So
as I know, I am the very beginning of the millennial generation. I'm like the first generation millennial.
yeah, I have no. I know it started in the 80s,
Yeah.
but it's like I don't know. It depends on how you were raised. Me personally, my mom was just like, don't come home till the lights come on.
Yep.
We got water, and if I call you and you don't come in, you're in trouble. Like you just told me to stay outside. Well, you got to eat lunch. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much where it came at. Unless you're almost dying, don't come inside.
Yep. That was literally my life. My parents had no idea where the hell I was most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. Drink out of the hose. If
Yep.
you came inside, you would get spanked. Okay,
You
no
basically only
problem.
went inside to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you came inside more than twice in like 4 hours, you're drinking too much water.
Yep.
So you better be on the ground twitching if you want to drink abundance of water because you're dehydrated and you're like almost gone. Your organs are shriveled up into raisins. But yeah, that's pretty much where I grew up. So, this was great. I appreciate all of this. So thank
Yeah.
you.
I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Bullshit.
Of, of course. Of course.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll keep you updated on when this is gonna get. I have to do some editing. I'm gonna make sure that all the empty and stuff, and when you went to the bathroom is out. All the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, I just drank a lot more water, so I gotta go to the bathroom again. So, but yeah, here we are. So,
All
all right,
right.
yeah,
Well,
no, let me
you,
know.
yeah, you have a good rest of your day, and thanks for chatting.
Oh, of course, thank you. You too. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.